football before we're through. So lots of stuff, and it's like today's like things kept feeding me. I didn't think I'd get enough stuff to talk about on the show tonight, Rod, and every time I turned around, there was more news coming down the pike. So
now it's going to be hard to find it.
Now it's going to be hard to find it, and I've got to move and groove right through it. Every Thursday night, our show is brought to you by Ideas Tees. It is the best place in Rutherford County for school spirit wear, screen printing, embroidery, specialty items, and more. Plus, buy all of your officially licensed MTSU Blue Raider merchandise from Raider Tees. Basketball is going. We'll talk a little Raider and Lady Raider basketball in a little bit, so you get some Blue Raider merchandise. For Blue Raider tees, polos, hats, and more, you got to visit their showroom at 910 Ridgely Road. Just turn off between Broad Street and Chewy's. And Chili's, Ideas Tees can put your logo on just about anything. Stop in and see how they can help you promote your favorite team, workplace, or organization. Find out more online on ideastees.com. When we come back, we're going to jump straight into some fall sports.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
We're talking now with Heather here at Carpets by Osborne. Tell us what it's like to work at a family business.
It's a lot of fun. However, it's a lot of work. Everybody has to pull their weight equally.
What do you think are some of the advantages of people doing business with a family business versus a corporate business?
We are here to answer all questions. We're responsible for scheduling jobs. We're not here to sell you material and pass you off to a list of installers.
Carpets by Osborne on Northwest Broad, next to Tire World.
Here's your Little Caesar slices and sticks, half Italian cheese sticks, half pepperoni pizza. It's the world's greatest combination.
Carl? How could you? Sorry, PB&J. I wanted to try new things.
No!
Have some for yourself.
Yes.
No! Get hot and ready slices and sticks for $6.99. Walk in and walk out between 4 and 8 p.m.
Little Caesars Pizza is a proud supporter of all Rutherford County High School athletes. Be sure to visit your Murfreesboro Little Caesars today.
Pizza.
Parks Auction. We handle everything.
Whether you're buying or selling a home or whether you're buying or selling commercial property, the auction is just so much easier, quicker, smoother.
My wife and I sold our personal home. Parks Auctions helped us with that. The house brought about 20% more than we were going to ask for.
Visit our website at parksauction.com to learn more.
Hi there, 12 and a half now, $15.
Stan Vaught and the Parks Auction team are proud supporters of local high school and MTSU sports.
Every team knows which play can be a winning move. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Womack, here to help life go right by combining your home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-890-0850. It's a winning move that saves you time and money.
It's not just a home or a car. I'm State Farm Agent Celeste Middleton. We see your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Give me a call at 615-895-2700 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
It's football time in Tennessee. Of course, that means tailgating and travel. Don't fumble due to a poorly maintained vehicle. At Dr. Automotive, we're here to help you score, whether it be a length of the field drive or a quick pick six. We'll help you tackle brake repair, heating issues, battery needs, and maintenance as you march downfield. We're on your team and here to make sure that you're ready for the big game. At Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car. Go deep!
Primetime Sports presented by Ideas Tees on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
All right, we're going to wind up some fall sports first in this opening segment. Rod Edwards is going to talk a little bit of cross country.
Okay, cross country will be the last, except for football, of the fall sports to finish up their championships. It was held in Hendersonville last Thursday and Friday, and we got some good news to report. The Central Magnet boys won the state championship. They had 3 finish in the top 20 runners. I mean, you're talking about 250 runners or so. And also when in the region, they had 7 finish in the top 10. So very strong season for the Central Magnet Tigers. Some of their leaders, Ty Brown was their top scorer. He finished 7th. Time was 16:08. He's a senior. Blake Nutter, a sophomore, finished 12th, and Henry Nance, a senior, finished 3rd place. And so, great performance. I think it may be our first state championship this year.
It may be our first state championship overall in all the sports. And I also noticed that the middle school team, they won the cross country championship for Central, so they've got more good runners coming up there. So congratulations to Central Magnet. I also want to take a look. It was signing day this week, Rod. A lot of kids have signed for different sports, and we want to take a second and recognize those kids. I'm looking at baseball. Ben Bryant from Stewart's Creek is going to Southwest Tennessee Community College. Brady Burns from Eagles going to Lincoln Memorial. Chase Fernandez from Stewart's Creek is going to Trevecca. Samuel Harding from Rockville is going to University of Health Science and Pharmacy. Aiden Jackson from Stewart's Creek is going to Lincoln Memorial. Bryce Messer from Riverdale is going to Trevecca. Gunnar Waldrop from Riverdale is going to Alabama Huntsville. And Kaysen Youngblood from PCA is going to Lee University.
Okay, most of them are within the state, so parents can get to their games a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
That's very important.
Rod, we've also got other kids in other sports. You want to take a look at those for us?
Sure. Basketball, we got Lyrique Maston from Blackman is going to Tennessee Tech.
Ooh, the Golden Eagles.
That's right.
It used to be a big rival. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, it was big. It was big when I first moved here.
It was big when I was in college.
Yeah. Okay, for golf, we have Colt Basham from Eagleville is going to Tusculum, and Aiden Sinclair from Rockville is going to Milligan College. In lacrosse, Colin Robinson from Siegel is going to Montevello. And I'll go to soccer, and I'll turn the softball over to you since you're the ball man.
All right.
Okay, for soccer, we got Mac Allen from Siegel is going to Chattanooga. Jordan Butler, Oakland, is going to Motlow State. And Ania LaFloria from Oakland is going to Alabama Huntsville.
All right. In softball, you got those two girls at Eagleville's had pretty good careers out there. Brinley Bain from Eagleville's going to Arkansas. And Addison Linton is going to Ole Miss, 2 SEC schools. Congratulations to those ladies. Also, Alyssa Barber from Blackman's going to Vol State. Jada Ellison will be at Indiana. Peyton Hurst from Riverdale is going to UT Martin. Auburn Carls from Siegel's going to Chattanooga. Taylor Minnick from Oakland is going to Johnson University. Adizia Wogo from Smyrna is going to MTSU. And, sweetie, I may have messed your name up. Addison Odell from Blackman is going to Cumberland. Abigail Schubert from Blackman is going to Tompkins Cortland. And Jasmine Watkins from Oakland is going to Dyersburg State.
And then in tennis, a very familiar name in tennis in Murfreesboro.
Absolutely.
Rich LaLance from Siegel is going to MTSU. The Lances are known for tennis in the area, really promoted it, and dad and probably grandparents and all
He probably was born with a tennis racket right in his crib.
So you can get to see him right here in town at MTSU. Track and field, we got Kyla Joy from Oakland is going to Tennessee Tech, another Golden Eagle. And Cameron Merriman from Stewart's Creek is going to Mississippi State.
All right. Congratulations to all those folks. I know their parents are very happy, especially if they got that scholarship money. You got to love that money. And you keep playing. Keep playing. That's what we want. So fall sports, like you said, Rod, are ending. Football, we're in the playoffs. These cross-country just finished. Of course, as soon as you kick fall sports out, winter sports jump in. Basketball starts next week.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep, next week. I started looking at schedules last week, so teams have already been playing some scrimmage-type things, but they really start for real next week. It's hard to believe. News out of Nashville today. First of all, the TSSAA held its regional meetings this week in Middle Tennessee over at Ensworth, and they award different things to schools called the Bridges Awards, the AF Bridges Awards. And they give those for sportsmanship to individuals in the categories of school system administrator, principal, athletic director, coaches, officials, etc. We had 2 winners. I want to recognize Dr. Jimmy Sullivan with Rutherford County Schools being named the Administrator of the Year for Athletic District 4, and also Mr. Pettigo, the principal over at Eagleville. He got the award at the principal level. So congratulations, Dr. Sullivan and Mr. Tim Pettigo, for being recognized in District 4. Congratulations. The big news today, which a lot of people may have not heard, every so often we realign regions. Well, it's time to realign. This doesn't affect this year, but it's next year. But it's big news because there's some major changes, Rod. I gave those to you, and the first thing that jumps out is what?
All the Rutherford County teams in the 6A are going to be in the same region.
That sounds good
but
in theory.
There's 8 of them.
8.
Okay, now the most you can send to the playoffs in the 6A or in your region is 4 teams. And I think this year right now in the 6A level, we've got 5 teams in it, right? Starting at 5.
Right. So
it's going to limit what we can send.
You have definitely changed the chances for Rutherford County schools. You know, we kind of joke on shows over the years, you know, nobody wants to come to Murfreesboro. Nobody wants to come to Murfreesboro. Well, you're not leaving Murfreesboro anymore. And so, yes, all 8 schools. Now, again, I've talked to a couple principals today, a couple coaches today, just getting a feel. They're not obviously sure yet. Heard some, I'm okay with it. Heard some, I'm not okay with it, you know. So, I mean, travel-wise,
it's great.
It's great.
It's not going to cost you as much to send your team.
It's not. But when you start planning on, hey, I got to try to make the playoffs, like we just said, if you're only taking 4 of the 8, our number 5 team next year, our number 5 team could very well beat most schools around, but they'll never find out.
That's right.
That's the problem.
We just take Blackman, 4th seed, went and demolished a 1 seed who was undefeated, Green Hill. So those type of things, we've got fewer chances.
Yeah. Well, for those coaches and scheduling, it could be a good thing. You've already got 7 games before you even start your schedule.
Right.
And so, you know, I can hear Coach Creasy. I haven't talked to Coach Kevin Creasy at all, but he might be a little happy about this because, hey, I got 7 games. Because Oakland's always struggled a little bit about scheduling games.
So he can maybe go from Texas, he can move closer like Mississippi, Alabama, or Kentucky.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a border state instead of running all the way to Texas to get a game. So that only leaves you 3 non-region games. So not a lot. You know, again, the travel's good, but, you know, if I'm a kid, it's like, oh, we got an away game. Oh, I'm driving across town. You know, I'm driving across town. Right. Now, Mom and Dad's going to be happy because getting home at night will be a whole lot easier most of the time. So, yeah, so football next season, all 8 are together. And I think we could be the only, I don't know this for a fact, the only 8-team region. So that was one of the things that I heard some frustration about today. It's like, why us? There's some that are 4 or 5, even 6, but 8?
Yes.
8's a little tough. Other regions, Eagles joins Region 5 1A. You've got pretty much all the same teams Eagle played this year. You're taking out Wayne County and Collinwood, and you're adding Fayetteville High School. In Division 2A, Middle Tennessee Christian and PCA stay together. For them, on a good side, if you look at it, Friendship's not in their group.
Yes.
Friendship being such a football power, not as much of a big deal coming up this year because of that. So
this would be a much easier. Just take. Well, you don't have Columbia. Last year they had Columbia Academy, but they were able to beat them. But it was a very close game. And like you said, Friendship is always in it.
Yeah. So I mean, that you got your good and bad as far as you look at your football reason. Now, when you flip over, because it affects not only football, affects basketball, baseball, and softball. Now the head scratcher is this: they took our 8 teams in football and split them in half for basketball, baseball, and softball. So you've got Blackman, Laverne, Smyrna, and Stewart's Creek together in one district, Oakland, Riverdale, Rockville, Siegel in a second. Now, my problem with that, Rod, is, I mean, it could be a good thing, but I mean the competition, but there's 4 teams going to region. Well, there's only 4 teams in the district.
Mm-hmm. So
you know you're going. Does that take the luster off winning the district?
Well, it takes the sweat away of not making it.
Well, you know you're getting a region no matter what.
Because basically you want to make sure you get in.
Right.
So at least you know you're in, and you can make decisions on we're building. You know, it depends on what kind of team you've got and what you got to develop.
The other thing I didn't mention back to about football, but we talked about it before the show, Shelbyville and Coffee County will drive past all the Rutherford County teams and head up towards Williamson County to play in their football region, which, I mean, I don't know if they're happy or not happy, but they're going to drive past us unless you get them in a non-region game. So that's just, again, that's kind of weird to look at.
Going back to the football, who do we play in the playoffs first? Who's in 4A?
I don't.
Region 4.
I don't have that group together.
Is that Mount Juliet in that group, or?
I would think so. I don't know so. Again, you ought to get some kind of trophy just surviving the region here in Murfreesboro. My goodness, like I said, that we're gonna beat ourselves up, I'm afraid. Central Magnet, again, changing. Rod, you've talked about over the years when you were over at Central helping over there, how you went south, you went north, you went every direction in the world.
Right, and so they were been playing south, I think, the last 2 years, and now they're going back north. And they don't have as long as travel, though. They have fewer teams, so they don't have to go up on the plateau, except one game is not really plateau, but it's up really far north.
You're on the Tennessee border up there in Lafayette, that's for sure. They're with DeKalb County, Macon County, and Watertown in their district. Of course, they don't compete in football. Eagleville, they got split. They've got teams in like a football group, and then you go to their basketball, baseball, softball group. Now they're playing Culleoka, Hampshire, Mount Pleasant, and Santa Fe, with Mount Pleasant being the only school that has a football program. Culleoka, Hampshire, and Santa Fe don't have football programs. And so they'll be playing a lot of different teams depending on the sport there.
You should be able to be a little bit physically stronger than them.
It should be, but okay, so here's a question I thought about. So if I'm the basketball coach at Eagleville, and my kids are all playing, and because a lot of kids do, all my kids are playing football.
Mm-hmm.
What's those non-football schools doing? They're practicing basketball. Oh, no, we don't practice in the off season. You lie. Y'all got a ball in your hand every day. We did too when we were kids. So, I mean, not a big issue, but at the same time, you got a lot of kids that are going to get beat up physically. You could lose some kids because of football injuries, and then just much less. Eagles playing really well. They're in week 2 of the football season. You're going to get, like we've talked about Oakland and Riverdale over the years, their football players don't get in after about the first 3 weeks of basketball sometimes.
Yeah. And they're still knocking clotheslining and everything else for a while.
Oh, yeah, they're playing football out there on the basketball court.
It takes a while to get that finesse game going.
It does. And then, of course, Middle Tennessee Christian PCA, that's a whole different group. They'll go to a Franklin and Nashville area for a lot of their games in basketball, baseball, and softball. But I wanted to mention all this just because it's such a change. And like I said, I was calling some people, and then some people blew up my phone because they knew I was talking about it tonight. It's like, don't say I said it. Don't say I said anything negative. But the only thing I said to a couple of principals was, maybe y'all should look at revenue sharing in football for 2 years. Home and away, share, split the gates for the gates.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you have some years it's a rainy, terrible season, you don't make any money. And that's hard on a football program. I got to stop. We got to take a commercial. We'll be right back. We'll jump into the third pick, Tennessee Titans.
Since 1966, Fans Heating and Air has been a symbol of quality for Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. For friendly, complete service on Amana, Bryant, or American Standard Heating and Air products, Fans will do it all. Sell you your choice of products and then install it with their factory-trained, experienced professional staff. In the unlikely event you need service, Fans will be there with trained technicians. Fans Heating and Air is located on Jayhawk Court. Call 615-893-7930. Fans Heating and Air.
We're talking with Anne-Marie Brents at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive.
Our sandwiches are very popular. Our pork and our chicken are probably most popular pulled meats. We have spare ribs. They're delicious. They fall off the bone good. We don't put sauce all over our meat.
And that's so you can choose mild or hot sauce or their signature white sauce.
White sauce is our special kind of secret sauce. It's delicious. It's kind of got a kick to it, but it's not too spicy.
Barbecue smoked chicken, ribs, loaded baked potatoes. Check out Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
Whether you have a quarter acre or several, Las Casas Feed Supply has premium feeds and dog foods you can't find in box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
Plus, every Saturday morning they have a local producer-only farmers market with fresh vegetables, beef, pork, and more.
Customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, Las Casas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas. Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
The large majority of our kids are involved in athletics or extracurricular activities, one or the other, and most are doing multiple activities.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
And that's a great preparation for life. How many of us in our life are just doing one thing? So a well-rounded student is a huge deal.
Invest in your child's future in a Christ-centered environment with many athletic and extracurricular choices.
Without a doubt, our students have the opportunity to be involved in multiple activities.
To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
Genesee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Here's Dr. Russell McKissick with TOA.
We have a passion here for taking care of our athletes here in Rutherford County. We really do our best to take care of them.
Experts in joint, bones, and muscles.
Many years we've been taking care of athletes around here, and we've just picked up where Dr. John started, and we just keep going.
TOA has a playbook that gets you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. TOA, live your best life.
Primetime Sports presented by Ideas Tees on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
All right, we're back. That was a lot on realignment, I know, but there's a lot of people very interested in those changes. Like I said, some people not very happy about those changes. I'm kind of one of them. I don't want all 8 teams together. I think that puts us at a disadvantage for, having teams going very far. And, this week, we know Oakland most likely has a chance to win. You're going to get a winner out of Riverdale Blackman, so you're going to have, 2 Rutherford County teams very likely moving on, which means one more will move on.
And maybe Stewart's Creek.
Depending on, right. But I was talking about you got enough teams where you're split apart. You're not all beating each other up and beating each other out. So I mentioned on the break the third pick Tennessee Titans. Yes, that's where they are right now. If you'd like to go to tankathon.com, tankathon.com, and you can see where the Titans pick, and it changes depending on week to week. So right now we're third. And according to Tankathon, we're going to take the quarterback out of Miami. I know we got a long way to go, but that just tells you what people think about Will Levis. Will Levis was back last week. He had some good moments, but he also had some bad moments. And when I say bad moments, he was on his rear end 7 times.
And the problem was he wasn't making quick enough decisions. Held the ball too long. Pass, though, I liked the 2 long passes, some of the other passes. He showed some signs of what he looked like last year, because last year he showed a lot of potential. And that's what's kind of got everybody baffled. But it's like it's in the head right now.
Calvin really the best receiver for the Titans. 5 passes, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns, as Rod mentioned, about some good long passes. Other issues with the Titans, did you see the call? Did you watch the game where the call got overturned?
Yes.
Simmons sacked him. He was not throwing that ball.
No.
His arm might have been moving, but he was not planning on throwing that ball.
It was basically wrist here and his arm is down.
Yeah,
he can't come through with the throwing motion.
If it was Mahomes, I might have said he was probably trying to throw it because he would throw it any direction, but he wasn't throwing anyway. Fumble, return, touchdown. We would have went up. It was a huge call, and it's almost like we went from joy and we're doing something to just drain the Titans.
Well, we've struggled. We haven't been getting turnovers, and you pull that off just before half.
Right.
You go in head 14-13. It's a whole lot different attitude when you come out in the second half, and because you're a team that's been suffering and having trouble coming out in the second half and doing well.
While Levis was on his backside 7 times, Herbert never got sacked. Of course, they overturned the one where we did with the fumble. And then penalties again. Titans, the margin for error for the Titans is so slight. And then, of course, we gave up another special teams blunder, giving up a kickoff return.
That's the killer. I mean, it just kills you, and it's happened game after game after game.
Well, I don't understand why our kicker is not putting just through the back of the end zone. Yeah. In high school, you wish they'd let them return it some because, kickers that can kick, there's never any returns. It's a fun part of the game. But in NFL, just kick it all the way through the back of the end zone, let it be. You don't have to worry about that.
Right.
So
it's a big plus if we can make them go and start on the 25.
That's correct. That's correct. So the Titans host Minnesota, the Vikings. That's going to be a tough game again this Sunday, but is at home, so we shall see. The other bottom feeders, I looked at their schedule. They're probably on the downside of looking at a loss as well. So, again, where we're sitting, what we got left, even if there was a miracle and we ran off a big win streak, the likelihood of making the playoffs is not there. So we're talking again this Thursday. How do you keep the players wanting to play? How do you not want to start tanking? How do you not keep people from getting upset? And so, that's a tough job on Coach Callahan, what he's got ahead for him on the Titans. So we shall see. The Predators, another team, just a quick mention of the Predators if you're a hockey fan, sitting in last still in the Western Conference. And so neither team looking well. Major League Baseball, real quick, jump into that. And the only reason I picked it because the Angels signed a catcher. Did you see that?
I did not.
See if you know where this guy's from. And if I'll say it wrong, I shouldn't say it wrong, but Travis Denard.
He's from the Atlanta Braves.
That's why I put it in there tonight in case John's listening.
Yeah, John, that's for you.
I liked Denard.
Yeah, he's a very solid player.
He was a solid catcher. I know he's getting up in years and stuff, but, the Angels said they liked him enough to take him. So, but
although he's never really caught the whole year. Usually he's switching off with somebody.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely a backup, catcher, which you've got to have, but he's solid, got a decent bat, so
yeah,
he's heading west. Head west, young man. Head west. The Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders fell to 2-4 in Conference USA with their 37-17 loss to Liberty. Very similar to the Titans. You can't have, costly turnovers. You can't have mistakes. When you've got a team like the Blue Raiders do, they just got totally gashed by their run game. They gave up 339 yards on 50 carries.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
It is.
Which means you don't have the ball. They're controlling the ball. And then the flip side, we had 70 yards rushing on 26 carries.
And the game starting out was pretty balanced, but, man, they just started steamrolling.
Well, like you said, Coach Mason said they had some early momentum, but then some turnovers, lost some opportunities. You got to capitalize when you can. When you don't, that makes it tough again. Blue Raiders are just like the Titans. They're a team that the margin for error is so small. So that takes the MTSU out of any idea of a bowl game, which I don't think anybody's thought of recently at all. And they have 2 games left off this week before they host their final home game against New Mexico State next weekend. So it'll be interesting right over the next couple of weeks. See what Coach Mason does. The transfer portal will open up early December. Is he going to go heavy transfer portal? Is he going to sign some young kids? So for your Blue Raider fans, the football season there is rapidly coming to a close. But basketball again. Let's go back to basketball. Basketball is starting. The men, Rod, you noticed have already had a good start.
Yes. Last I heard, they were 3-0.
3-0.
And by far the best start that they've had since Coach Davis has left.
Started out really strong. They've got a very good team. Lady Raiders fell the other night, but they were playing at Tennessee, which is a tough place to play. They were in that game, playing really well. Tennessee's got a new coach. She is a pressing coach. You don't see that a lot in college. But
no, you don't.
They are pressing left and right.
And I think what she tries to do is use quite a few people.
Well,
that's where you can survive it in college.
That was the big thing I noticed when I looked at the box score. Coach Enzel primarily used 5 girls, a couple of them 40 minutes, a couple of them 38 minutes, I believe. And they had like 3 other girls that played, but all less than 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing a pressing team, that's tough.
It is.
Tennessee, I think, played 12 girls, and I don't remember exactly, but it was like 9 or 10 or 11 of them played double-digit minutes.
So everybody is continually playing full speed ahead. They're not hitting the ups and downs of fatigue, possibly, during a long stretch, especially if you start getting several turnovers in right away.
Yep. So
did you see the turnover ratio? Was there much?
It was about 25 for the Lady Raiders. mostly in the second half. First half, they were good, but I think they just lost their legs.
Yeah.
So, Coach Enzo's got a real good team. And weekend of basketball. There's no football this weekend. So the men and the women both play this weekend. And for you Lady Raider fans, on the 17th versus Alcorn State, I just think it's funny. They're having a princess ball. Meet and greet princesses on the concourse game before the game. You can dress up as your favorite princess if you like. I don't think I will. And there's a light-up tiara giveaway, which I will pass on that as well. But if you have daughters or granddaughters, that would be a very, very fun event for Lady Raider fans coming up this weekend. Now, also got news out of the Lady Raiders. Coach Enzo signed 6, which is highly unusual, to sign 6 players in his upcoming recruiting class. I want to tell you about some of these ladies, Rod. I want to tell you something. Blair Bogus out of Waynesboro, Miss Tennessee basketball winner. Good pickup. Jenna McClendon out of Deatsville, Alabama. She's won back-to-back state basketball championships. Also part of a volleyball championship. Also plays softball, so she's an athlete. 6'4".
Ooh, that's even better.
Oh, yeah. Macy Pfeiffer, a 6'1" guard out of Mississippi. Probably the most decorated multi-sport athlete to come out of the state of Mississippi. She has a trio of basketball state championships, pair of volleyball state titles. She was the 23-24 Mississippi Gatorade Player of the Year and 2-time Miss Volleyball Award winner.
Do you think she knows how to win?
She knows how to win. She's got to be a heck of an athlete. Carson Swaney out of Maryville, Tennessee, a 2-time Tennessee Miss Basketball. And then Kirsten Verhurst, an all-state person out of Kansas, a 2023 4A Player of the Year. But here's the kicker. Nicole Dominguez. And this is, I'm not making a mistake, Rod.
She's the one from Spain.
She's the one from Spain. You've heard about her, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I heard about her coming to visit, and I'm
6'10". 6'10". So we got you were excited about the 6'4". 6'10" young lady. She played in Spain's under-17 women's basketball World Cup. And so she's part of that bronze medal team. So probably a work in progress, But as we've always said in basketball, you can't coach height.
No.
Can't coach height.
She can get some rebounds.
She can get some rebounds.
She can knock some shots away.
Well, I mean, the girl that's there now, was she about 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", somewhere there? And she's gotten better every year at middle.
Right.
And so I know.
They do a good job training them up.
They do. So great job there. All right, so the boy is out of the pool. He's on the line. We're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot, Rod, while we got him.
Okay.
Danny Brewer, how's the swim meet going?
It's going good. Smyrna is dominating Middle Tennessee Christian School right now. Of course, Middle Tennessee Christian doesn't have the numbers, but Smyrna is looking good. We're at the 50-free break right now.
So Smyrna, of course, is one of the few schools in Rutherford County schools that has a swimming pool. So that's a big deal for them. Hey, Danny, I want to talk to you about 2 games while I've got you on the phone. The Dogs fell short the other night. You were at that game, correct?
Yes, sir.
So up and down year for Coach Williams. I know he's kind of a little bit probably disappointed in how things turned out, but they played hard Friday night.
They did play hard. Their own worst enemy. 3 turnovers led to 3 Brentwood touchdowns, and they got beat 37-21. So, the first play of the game was a pick 6 for Brentwood. So you're in a 7-0 hole, 1 play from scrimmage. So that hurts. But the turnovers hurt them. They were able to run the football good. They played tough, played hard. Just made a few too many mistakes.
All right, and then the other team right down the road from you, Stewart's Creek, got their first ever playoff win, but it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't. And, the thing about it is, I think that anytime you go in the playoffs, there's a certain amount, especially when you're the number 1 seed, there's a certain amount of pressure on you. You're the home team. You're supposed to win. So a lot of times that pressure, I think, adds up. Now, to take nothing away from Independence, I think that they played a good football game. But this week will be an even bigger test for Stewart's Creek. They are hosting Brentwood. And, I mean, personally, I like the Creek's chances. If they play Creek football, I think they got a good chance to win.
Yeah, I do too, Danny. I do too. So Yeah, hated to see the Bulldogs go down, but like you said, you can't turn the ball over at any level. And then I kept watching that Stewart's Creek score because I was like, oh my gosh, please don't. You've not won a playoff game. Please don't lose it at home to a team that was under 500.
Right, exactly. But at this stage, they were 0-0. You know, like the season, everything starts over. It's win or go home, and you know the records. You can throw all the records out the window because it's a one-game scenario where you got to get it done.
And they have been so hot. They've been steamrolling everybody. And this, of course, you don't want to have lay an egg in the playoffs, but maybe hopefully for Coach Caudill and the Red Hawks, that was their little bump in the road as they jump back on that, like I said, that Stewart's Creek bandwagon they've been rolling on lately.
Absolutely, you know, because that's the thing about it. If you can have a not-so-good game and still win, that's really good.
Well, let me ask you before I let you go, can my Vols have a not so good game and win down in Georgia?
I think they got to have a good game to win at Georgia, you know, and I think they can. You know, it's one of those deals where I certainly feel like Tennessee has a good chance to go down there and win, but it all boils down to execution. If Tennessee doesn't turn the football over, then, you know, you can't beat yourself. At a game like that, you can't beat yourself. When you play a team like Georgia, you can't give them more opportunities and more possessions. You have to take care of the football and capitalize on opportunities.
Well, I sure hated to see them lose last week because, you know, you don't want them coming in off a loss. Then we're going to Georgia, which is even worse, so we shall see. All right, Danny Brewer joins us from Smyrna High School. Appreciate you, Danny. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to make a run through a few things and talk high school football playoffs.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies. We're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
This is a paid legal ad.
You've probably heard it a million times. If you're injured, call a lawyer. And you probably haven't because you don't know how much it will cost, how long it will take, or even if you have a case. At the law offices of John Day, we provide a free initial consultation because we understand that folks don't want to pay a lawyer only to find out they don't have a case. If you think we can help, we do so on a contingency basis, which means we only get paid if you do. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day.
Pizza. You in a hurry for dinner? Well, we've made it even easier to order online at sirpizzatn.com. Tap the location nearest you and begin your carry-out or delivery order at sirpizzatn.com. You can choose from our full menu, and we'll take care of the rest. A Queen's Feast is calling my name. Order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name, but there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Primetime Sports presented by Ideas Tees. on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
All right, we're back, and my pile of stuff to talk about is still stacked pretty high. Let's talk about Vanderbilt. Unfortunately, they lost to South Carolina. You know, Vanderbilt gets in the top 25, gets beat, got knocked out, got back in the top 25. South Carolina's playing well. They just struggled. Vanderbilt did. But the news really out of Nashville is about Diego Pavia and him trying to get a couple more years of eligibility. And he's saying because he believes he can earn more than $1 million in NIL money in 2025 if he's allowed an additional year. So he's suing the NCAA. Federal judge came back this week, said his request for a restraining order is not going to happen, but he didn't close the thing. So do you blame him for trying this?
No. Everybody else is going to the courts. And he spent 2 years in junior college,
right?
And that's counting against him. Is that correct?
Yep.
That's not even part of the same organization,
right?
And so I can see where he feels like he has his point. He's one of those that nobody wanted him with the junior college, and all of a sudden he just started really developing, and then he ended up with New Mexico State, and then here at Vanderbilt. So he's almost like a late bloomer, and he wasn't in the NCAA the first 2 years, so no, it probably shouldn't count against him.
Well,
I think he has a shot.
I think he does too, and I think he knows what he's looking at. He's not looking at a pro career.
No.
He knows that. So I'm not going to make him money being a pro, but where I'm at now and the year I've had at Vanderbilt, what I've done at Vanderbilt, I can have a little bit of a bid more for my services. But the transfer portal we've mentioned is opening up in a couple weeks. If I don't get in that portal, other schools are going to grab who they can grab, and then I'm out of luck. So he's worrying about trying to get in there, see where he can get the best deal. It's just changed college football.
Yes, it has.
Totally has.
Yeah.
Tennessee picked up a win over Mississippi State, 33-14 last Saturday night. Dylan Sampson, a career-high 149 yards and a touchdown. Had to have him because Nico got hurt. We don't know how bad Nico's hurt. And, of course, he's fine. He's going to be okay. No, he's not playing. Yes, he's playing. We'll see. All that's going on right now, gamesmanship. I think he's going to play Saturday because I think that's why they held him out, because they didn't want to take a chance, which was smart on their part, because I don't see, as much as Gaston Moore was a decent quarterback, I don't see him leading us to a victory against Georgia.
No, he just doesn't have the potential that Nico has. Nico has been disappointing a little bit. I think after we saw the first two games, which, because lesser opponents, how sharp his passes were and everything, but it's a whole different game when you get in the SEC.
It's a whole different game, and everybody keeps waiting for that Tennessee offense to just have that game. And if there's a time for it to actually happen, if it's going to happen, it needs to happen Saturday against Georgia. Tennessee-Georgia, it's one of the only two top 25 games. Both of those are SEC matchups. The new college poll came out for the playoffs. Monty said it's not a Tennessee against you kind of thing. I don't know. I think if they lose Saturday, they're out of that top 12.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it depends. If you're still one of the few two lost teams and they win the rest of their games, they may make it. But it depends on how many are left with two losses.
Well, in the top 25, look at the top 15 teams they've mentioned. Alabama's at 10, Ole Miss is at 11, Georgia is at 12, Texas A&M is at 15. That's the teams that have lost two games. Hint, the SEC beating up each other, just like we talked about earlier about this new 8-team district in high school football next year locally. We're going to beat each other up, which means we're going to knock each other out.
Yeah.
And so
basically, to me, SEC is stronger than it's ever been because it's from top to bottom now. You can see it. Mississippi whipping Georgia.
They did.
Which you wouldn't think would happen.
Which I hated to see for our sake, for Tennessee's sake. Hated to see that. So I understand Indiana's 10-0. I still don't think they need to be 5. I'm sorry. I'm okay with Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State. I've never been a Notre Dame fan. Sorry, Mr. Gillespie, but I'm just not. But they're there. I want to see them play somebody else though. And then, Miami, I think they've been playing with danger all season long, and Georgia Tech finally got them. So main thing is, Tennessee fans, if you're like me, just win the ball game. Win the ball game, you ain't got to worry about it. But all I do is I see flashbacks to South Carolina. And, I thought if we lost to Georgia, but it was a very competitive, good game, that we would hang on.
Well, Georgia had asked to win out, though, and they didn't.
Right. So,
this is a totally different year. I mean, anybody can beat anybody.
They can. So we shall see. All right, speaking of seeing, we've got a lot of teams still in the high school playoff, round 2. Middle Tennessee Christian is on the road. They've got a real tough matchup, Rod. They're going to Nashville Christian.
Yes, and Nashville Christian has a quarterback by the name of Jared Curtis, who is the number 1 rated quarterback for the junior class of this year in the nation.
In the nation. Not Tennessee, the nation. Yes, sir.
Right. And he's had 2,263 yards passing, 444 yards rushing, 51 TDs for the whole year. Total offense is 2,707. And they, I think, lost one game. I don't know who they lost it to. It might have been at one of the bigger schools. I don't know.
Yeah, so, but
they are rated number 1 in the polls.
They are. Tough matchup for Middle Tennessee Christian. They won it last year, lost a lot. We've been seeing a lot of the young kids step up, but this is a major step up in competition this week. We're pretty much all agreeable on Pigskin Picks that Nashville Christian will get that win. Speaking of Pigskin Picks for a second, I had the best week I've had all season, Ron, and I didn't gain anything. I was 11-1, but guess what? Brian Barrett was 11-1. Come on, Brian, give the boy a little help. And then I got this week's picks right here. Who do my picks exactly match? Brian Barrett's. Come on, brother, help me out. Come on, help me out. All right, Eagleville. Speaking of a team heading to another tough matchup, they're going to McKenzie, Rod. Woo, 11-0 McKenzie. Eagleville, they're hot. They've won 5 in a row, 6 of 8. Their defense is playing well, just allowing 8 points a game during their win streak. But this is also the state's top team in their division.
Eagleville, I think it's been one of the best teams they've had. But now you're McKenzie, set runner-up last year, and state champ the 2 years before that, runner-up the year after that. And they've got the same kind of deal with quarterback. He may not be number 1 in the nation, but he is a semifinalist. And his name is Tate Serber. He's passed for 2,325 yards, rushed for 867 yards. He also has 51 TDs and a total of over 3,192 yards. Ooh. So that's going to be a tough one, especially both teams are going there.
On the road. You mentioned this probably Eagles' best team. I wouldn't have said that, Rod, knowing the kids that were coming back and what they lost. Coach Floyd has done a fabulous job. They have really rode Caleb Snitzer. He's got over almost 1,300 yards rushing and 17 TDs. He figured out what they could do. They could play defense and they could run the football. And, 8-3 is a fabulous season for the Eagles.
Now, if they can move the ball, McKenzie, keep the ball away from Suber, they have a chance.
We talked with Danny just a little bit ago. Brentwood on the road coming to Stewart's Creek. Brentwood was ranked 7th, beating Smyrna 37-21. The Redhawks, again, hopefully that 2014 squeaker last week woke them up. Y'all were there, and you said it was just kind of a flat first of the game.
Very flat. Had one really hard run by Jeremy Smith, but you got a touchdown. The rest of the time, it was just rounding out, and Independence had a 6'6" quarterback. I think he's a sophomore, and they were running triple option, and they kept getting the edge, and that really hurt them. And basically, we were talking about it, and they said, "What do you think?" I said, "If they don't change their attitude, come out and then realize that this is it, some of their leaders have to take over the game." And that's what happened. They did. Caleb Floyd had over about 150 yards rushing in the second half. They couldn't stop him. They kept the ball. Actually, the first the third quarter was all the game was spent almost in the 20-yard line to the goal line of Independence. So they had them backed up in field position, and so totally different attitude. Maybe they got the jitters out. You know, you're expected to win. It's the playoffs. You've never won a game. They've never won
a game.
Won a game in playoffs. So this is a big year for them. They won their first playoff game. They won the Mayor's Cup, beat Smyrna for the first time, won the regular season. I think that's the first time. So it's a big year for Stewart's Creek, Coach Cadill, and they're doing really good. And got a big game coming up, but if they go in like they did the second half, it's anybody's game.
Big game, of course, good chance to win. The problem is they're staring down. You know, once you get to the quarterfinals, you're playing very, very quality teams. We've already mentioned who Milton's Christian and Eagleville's already playing. They're staring down Ravenwood going down the road to them. Mount Juliet, 10-1, is heading to Oakland. They'll be over there playing the Patriots. They've played many times.
They have, and some really tough games. Oakland's come out on top every time, but I mean, I remember one there. It took a block. It was at their place. I think it was the year we got second and lost to Whitehaven that year in the state championship game. But they had Oakland down, and Oakland had a block punt, able to score, and pull the game out at the very end.
Craig Tutt for the Patriots who rushed for 350 yards and 5 touchdowns in the past 2 games. Leads that rushing attack for Oakland. He has really stepped up, especially the last couple of weeks when the other guys have been hurt. Mount Juliet coming in, though, 10-1. Should be a pretty decent game. I think we're all pretty sure that we feel like Oakland's got a good chance to win that one. We're split going back to Stewart's Creek and Brentwood. I kind of feel Brentwood and Brian and I both feel Brentwood has a very good chance there. Hopefully we're wrong on that one. Won't help me in the stands, but we'll hopefully be wrong on that one. And then finally, the game that WGNS will be at tomorrow night. It's Kreisky Bowl Part 2 this year at Riverdale. First game of the season was at Blackman. Very close game.
Yes.
Early.
And, finally in the second half, Taylor took over. DJ Taylor, the commitment to MTSU, took over the second half. In fact, he took over the Oakland game 2 weeks ago until Tutt made his tremendous run that kind of changed the momentum of the game.
Well, the Cookeville-Riverdale game was ugly first half, and then second half opening kickoff, he ran it back 90 yards, and it was just one thing after another going Riverdale's way. Blackman again went on the road, beat an undefeated Green Hill team, which we all thought could happen. We all thought that last week could happen, but this game's different. Again, you got, everybody jokes about the brothers, but you got Thanksgiving coming up, and somebody's going to be happy at the Thanksgiving table and somebody's not.
That's true. Somebody's going to be grinning, and
that
somebody's
makes it
going
tough.
to be chomping.
Well, it may be tough on them, but I think it's tougher on Mom and Daddy coming to those games, because I've talked to Dad a couple of times, and he's like, Mama gets in real bent out of shape about it, so that's hard on them. But that means one of those boys are going to be heading into the quarterfinals of the playoffs. But that should be a fantastic game again. Rod will be there with John and Brian calling that game tomorrow night from Riverdale High School. We all picked Riverdale, but I don't think any of us will be surprised if Blackman pulls off the win.
No, Blackman has one of the best interior defenses and interior offensive lines of any teams. That's why Oakland only beat them 13-12, and it took some stuff at the end. Coach Matt.
Like, you got to be careful. Coach Kreisky. Yeah, which one?
Yeah, the Coach Matt said the second, he thought that was the best game that they played all year, that they really, like light bulbs went on. If they get that, and the thing that hurt them with Riverdale was DJ Taylor. Well, that means they're going to have to cover and get good pursuit, make sure everybody to the ball, and don't let him get the edge. He kept getting the edge on him.
And Riverdale will try to spread you out. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow night if they creep their linebackers up, really key on Taylor, and try to see if Riverdale can beat them over the top with passing. So, again, great game for WGNS to have tomorrow night. We're going to take our final break, come back, and we'll wrap up this show.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
We fulfill all your tax preparation needs from individual returns to corporations and handle any of those scary letters you may get from the IRS.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
The Blue Raider fan source for officially licensed Middle Tennessee gear is Raider Tees. T-shirts, caps, sweats in all sizes, designs, colors, children's to plus sizes. Raider Tees has decals and license plates to show everyone your favorite team. Plus, check out their wide selection of Blue Raider art, jewelry, even golf tee markers. Show your Blue Raider pride with the largest selection of Blue Raider merchandise anywhere by shopping Raider Tees, 910 Ridgely Road, just before the bridge over Broad behind Chewy's.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Life changes, then it changes again. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. A job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure that you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056 for an appointment. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
Primetime Sports presented by Ideas Tees on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
All right, let's close this show out. A couple of things about pigskin picks. We all went with the Vikings because we have no faith in the Titans. And then, Randy, if you're listening, I went with the Bulldogs, not the Vols, so maybe I can be good luck by picking Georgia. I can't stand picking Georgia. Anyway, all right. WGNS this weekend. You got high school football again tomorrow night. They'll begin at Riverdale. Rod and I were talking about Blackman being a young team, but they've grown up because the schedule made them grow up.
And I did. They have, like you mentioned, that they are rated the top schedule in the state. A lot of top 10 teams that they've played so far this year.
So I'm not sure who Oakland wants to win, Riverdale or Blackman, because they struggle with both of them on that other side. Saturday, Coach's Corner. We'll be cutting a few teams out of the playoffs, but they'll be here to talk in the morning on Saturday. Middle Tennessee men's basketball on Saturday. And then you've got women's basketball on Sunday. So men on Saturday, women on Sunday for all you folks that want to see princesses or dress like a princess on Sunday. On Monday, it's the Middle Tennessee Football Coaches Show, even though they're off. On Tuesday, women's basketball is back. They're playing Tennessee Tech, who we mentioned earlier. I'm glad they're playing Tennessee Tech. And the men head down, poor guys, they got to go to Myrtle Beach and play basketball next week,
right?
Poor guys. I know Tennessee basketball team's going to the Bahamas. Miss Kay Martin's son, he is a manager for Tennessee basketball. And poor guys gets to go to the Bahamas here in a week or so.
Well, he went to Hawaii last year.
I know. I
mean, what a gig he's got in college.
He's got a great gig. Well, we got a great gig, too, here on Primetime Sports. We'll be back with you next Thursday night. Tune in tomorrow night for high school football.
We now return to